I like this. This is good. So this is the footprint of the thing. It's not actually very big, like very easily expanded as well. If you want to expand the amount of storage you get.
Huh. Did I hear that right? Was he complaining that he can't expand his storage using those indicators? I think I have a solution for that. Yeah, I have a solution for that. Okay, I'll admit, I might be twisting Iskall's words. It's just that, you know, I think there's a better way to do this indicator thing than the way he did it. So basically what I want to do is showcase in this video how to do a gravity block indicator instead of doing something like redstone lamps. You know, these new concrete powder blocks come in 16 different colors, so I think it would add a lot of great style. And what I'll talk about further is I think there's other applications that can be used. But let me talk about, you know, what I'm talking about in regards to doing it better than Iskall had. So first of all, let's talk about some basic multi-extension pistons. With the gravity block indicator, you might think, oh, you can just stack up some pistons, and you know, once they go down, all the gravity blocks will fall down, and it'll be great. So basically, what Iskall had done is you power the bottom, then the next one, and then the top one, and you can get an extension of 3 blocks. Then you come down, you have to unpower that, then you unpower that, and then you unpower that, and oh, it only came down by 2 blocks. So then what you have to do is power, unpower, and that was that silly falling edge monostable circuit that Mumbo Jumbo had talked about. The problem is, if you want to stack any further, it becomes a lot more complicated. You're going to be doing that a few times. So here we have 4 pistons stacked up together. We're going to power the bottom one, and then the next one, and then another, and the last. So that's 4 piston extensions. You're going to come down again, you have to unpower there, you're going to unpower there. But now you also have to grab that piston, so we're going to power, unpower. And then we're going to bring it back down, and oh look, we have to do that again. Power, unpower, power, unpower. Over here, I'll show you how to do the same thing, but a lot easier using slime blocks. So this is basically sequential 4 piston extension. You're going to power, 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 and power. And you've extended by 4 blocks. Now to retract, it's just unpower, 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 and unpower. If you ask me, I think that makes a whole lot more sense, and you can go a lot further with that. So when I got to thinking about this, what you see ahead of you is the first thing that I designed. Basically going with what I showed there, this 3 slime block extension. I wanted to go for 5 blocks, and I thought I could just add a 4th one there. But then you start dealing with the push limit. If I had this piston right there, and a 4th slime block with a 4th sticky piston, the first sticky piston to extend would be trying to carry a load of 13 blocks. If you don't know, the piston pushing limit is 12 blocks. So instead I have this accessory booster piston under here that will start off the sequence by pushing up the normal piston with the gravity blocks on top. So I'll demonstrate how this works just with the comparator signal coming out of this hopper. We've got ender pearls so that the hoppers work faster. Basically show you the sequence. You know, the first extension, and we have 1 indication, 2 indication, 3 indication, and 4 indication, 5 indication. It's really simple, and then it just goes back down again. So as I was thinking about this, I thought, why should I have to deal with the push limit when using a triple slime block extender when I can just wrap multiple slime block extenders around the central column? So I jumped from that design with 5 blocks to this design with 8 blocks, switching from the 3 slime block extender to a 2 slime block extender. With the 2 slime block extender, that first piston only has to push 12 blocks. And so what you have is a sticky piston, 2 slime blocks, the piston with the gravity blocks on top, and then that leaves room for 8 gravity blocks. But why stop there? If I'm already wrapping slime block piston extenders around a central column of gravity blocks, and I've already decreased from 3 slime blocks to 2 slime blocks. Why don't I decrease to 1 slime block so that I can add more gravity blocks? And so that's exactly what I decided to do. And I'm sure by this point you're tired of hearing the term slime block extender, so let's go look at what I've made. So this is basically the bread and butter of what I want to showcase in this video. This is a 10 block tall gravity block indicator, and I've hooked it up with redstone signal in increasing amount, but I've also done 2 different storage silos, one of which is very compact except it has to stick out a 4th block, and then the less compact one where each indication shows 2 double chests worth of items. For demonstration purposes, I'm reading a signal off of 2 hoppers out the back here. One is filled and the other is not. I'm going to go flick a switch to show you exactly what it looks like when it is counting up the blocks. Basically, with using the signal, I've just set it up for demonstration with this hopper here, but you could use this for an application where you're using a counter with an increasing signal for just indication on, say, a minigame or anything that you really want to count up to 10. When it comes to wiring this up for silo storage, it can be a little tricky, especially if you're doing a compact silo where you want an indication for each double chest. To make the wiring easier, I just set up this sort of C formation so that each hopper would be directly in front of the piston that it's supposed to extend. The problem is, with the way I wrapped the slime block extensions around a column of gravity blocks, there's this one on the front side that you need to somehow get a signal to. So the way I passed the signal underneath the next signal was with this observer. So once the hopper gets a signal strength of 2, I'll turn on that repeater, which will activate the observer, which will push out the redstone block for a second, and it will extend that piston. And then once that hopper depowers, the observer will notice that, and it will pull the redstone block back. I'm not really happy with this solution, so if there's other redstoners out there that want to take a look at this and see if they can get this down to a 3-wide solution for a compact silo storage, that'd be cool. But what I'm much happier with is the wiring for this tall, very simple silo storage, where each indication of the indicator marks 2 full double chests, and it's much easier to work with the redstone wiring to get to each individual piston. As you can see here, you can take some out front ways, you can take some out sideways, and still fit it within 3 blocks. The tricky part for getting that piston that's at the front, what I did, I basically have this piston on this comparator on subtract mode against a comparator that has a signal strength of 10. So when this hopper fills up, the highest signal it will ever get is a signal of 5, and that will power this piston, but not the next piston in line. The signal will only come to this redstone dust. But then that same line is also powered by the next hopper in line. So when this starts to fill up, this comparator will start to override the signal from that comparator. And basically once it hits a signal strength of 7, it will power the piston that matches that hopper. And then everything else is pretty straightforward. Just place some blocks to make sure that your redstone wires do not cross paths like this one. You got to make sure to cover that up, make sure the redstone doesn't connect. Now, if you did want to wire this up to deal with a gradually stronger signal, you're basically just gonna wrap it around same way that the pistons wrap around, as I've done here. You want to make sure that between each piston, the signal only drops by 1. So here we have power 8, up here power 7. And you're just going to wrap that around, and you can fit this all within 3 blocks. When you come to the top here, when you're powering the piston that is pushed along with the gravity blocks, my first solution was to continue this comparator chain to keep the signal going, and you can do it this way. But you can save on 2 comparators if you would rather use a slime block, or a slime sticky piston, that's what it's called, with a redstone block, and then a tiny bit of torch tower. So this redstone dust comes straight off of the chain of the signal, and this will be 1 signal less than the one powering that one. So once the signal goes on, that piston should be in place. It'll turn off that torch, turn on that torch, and power the piston, which will power that piston. Now the pitfalls with this indicator that you really need to watch out for is it is very important that the pistons be powered in perfect sequence. It won't be too big of an issue if you're doing the climbing signal like I've wired up here, but on the storage system you want to make absolutely sure that you won't have any hopper that gets backed up before a previous hopper is backed up. Basically what will happen is the slime block extender will push up the gravity blocks and it will stay up, but the gravity blocks will fall down. Then when that unpowers, it will break the whole thing because the slime block will try to carry back down the gravity blocks and the piston and everything below it. So right here we have a redstone dust, and let me just give you an example. Say this gets powered and nothing else is powered. Yeah, you're going to break the whole thing by bringing the whole thing down one more, as this piston won't even be in the right place. What I think is a great upside to using this type of indicator as opposed to redstone lamps is it's actually got all of the redstone underground. So here you can see this indicator from all 4 sides. The only thing is you need to make absolutely certain that it's an immovable block right there at the base, because there will be a slime block right underneath one of these 4. If you want all sides to match, well then you're going to need all 4 sides to be an immovable block. But basically all the redstone is underground, so you can basically do a indicator tower like I showed up top there. And so this one was currently set to only do a signal strength of 4. I can just get it a little bit more. There's a piston. There's another piston. Let's stop it there. Oh, we did another one. So now it went from 4 blocks to 7 blocks. Now I've got to say, the other great thing about using gravity blocks as an indicator as opposed to redstone lamps is that you actually have 19 color options now that we have the concrete powder in the game. So we've got 16 colors of concrete powder, we've got sand, that comes in yellow and red, and then even gravel if that actually would suit your style. The only drawback is, I've only gotten this to go up to 10, whereas with the redstone lamp indicator, I believe you can get as high as 15. I would like to pose a challenge to anyone out there watching that I think it would be possible to make a gravity block indicator that is 11 blocks tall if you're using a vertical flying machine. One last kind of whimsical idea I think that this could be put to use for would actually be sort of freestanding elevator. It's not fast and it only goes up 10 blocks, but it's certainly possible. So thanks for watching, and leave a like if you think this is a good idea. If you've watched my previous videos, you might notice that so far I've only done things inspired by Iskall doing things in ways that I think can be done better. But don't worry, I've got a few ideas for other videos inspired by different hermits. I've got 2 in the works, so subscribe if you like what you saw. And at the moment I have no intention of doing a tutorial for what I've shown in this video. I think just by showcasing the redstone it can be pretty easy to figure out now that you've seen everything I've explained. If there is a specific thing that you'd like to see a tutorial for, please leave me a comment and I will consider trying my hand at actually doing a tutorial. Yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.